Welcome back to the podcast. Here's a quick summary of what you're going to hear today.
Yeah, we talk about
Drugs.
yeah, we do talk about drugs. We have Dr. Haldeman on, and she tells us a little more about drugs.
Um, I know this is at the very end, and look, you don't always stay to the very end, but you should. You have to stay to the very end to see some vintage JJ Ralph clips of when he is just hot, like
Yeah,
ticked off hot.
we talk about humble and what it means to be humble.
We do, and we talk about the importance of school and getting an education.
Yeah,
There's something else funny that we talked about, but I don't know. I guess you're gonna have to listen to it unless you remember what it was.
I don't remember.
I don't know.
Yeah, all right. Well, Brandon, hit it.
Oh yeah! Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon. Welcome.
Yeah.
We love having our listeners, so thank you. We love doing this.
Yeah, we do. It's pretty awesome.
As much as we do it for you guys, I do this. This is a very selfishly motivated podcast.
Yeah, we're not doing it for you. We're doing it for us.
Look,
But
we're not doing it for the money that we've been earning. We're not doing
What
it for
money?
the fame and glory.
yeah,
We're doing it for you guys.
yeah, and for us.
If you're watching on Spotify, I want you to take a look at the swag that Jonathan and I are wearing.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome. I have not yet set up the website where you can order these things,
And neither have I. So
but we'll get to it at some point. So anyway, just keep your eye out. Look for that. You know, we got these cool shirts. I got a hoodie.
yeah, I have a hoodie too, but it's in the wash.
All right, well, let's just jump into it, man. We got a lot of things to cover today.
Yeah.
You'd mentioned you want to talk about humbling at a band concert. Let's hear about that.
Basically, so like you know what humble is, like to be humble or whatever, you know?
Yeah, in fact, one of the things I pride myself in is how humble I am. That's one of
Yeah.
my characteristic I'm most humble about or I'm most proud about is my humility.
Oh, yeah. Like so like to be humble
Like I'm so much more humble than you are.
oh, okay. I like yeah, I don't think that's humble. But I don't know, but I think like, like humble you're like kind of like I don't know, you're humble, you know? But
Thank you. Yes, I am. I'm
yeah,
very humble.
but
That's which I'm proud about. Anyway, keep going.
how humble do you have to be to wear a shirt that says humble on it?
Who is wearing the shirt?
I have no idea.
Just some like
random
adult,
person,
like an adult or a kid.
an adult, just wearing a
And
hoodie that says humble.
Humble.
I don't know. It might be like I don't know, a company or something, but I mean like you have to be pretty humble to be wearing that. You know, I mean,
I mean, it's about as. I mean, whatever. Maybe it's like, hey, you need to be more humble. Which
yeah, I
you know,
don't know.
usually when you like call somebody out and say like, hey, you need to be more humble. It's like usually one of those times that you should look in the mirror and say,
Yeah, I need to be more
okay,
humble.
yeah, it's probably me. I mean, I think wearing a shirt that says humble is maybe as ridiculous as me saying that I'm proud to be humble.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. Like, why would you wear a like? You're not humble if you're wearing a hoodie that says humble.
So maybe it's like a bee keeper, and he's like, it's a humble bumble and like a bumblebee. I don't know, dude. I
That
don't know.
that
I'm
was
just trying to help the guy
that was
out.
the randomest thing I've ever heard.
I'm a humble bumblebee
It,
keeper.
it might be a company though. Like I don't know, like a company that's like humble or like an artist. You know, like Van Gogh or something.
Yeah, I mean, to me, like that'd be a good rapper name. I rap under the name Humble.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be your rapper name.
It's funny, like I haven't spent a lot of time around boxers. I have a story that I came across Floyd Mayweather. I don't know if you know who that is. He
Nope.
was the boxing champion. He's considered one of the best boxers of all time.
Yeah.
I used to work at a Dillard's, and he came in. This is when I was like first married, and he came in, and when I first saw him, I was like, dude, like he has his entourage. There's like probably 8-9 guys with him,
Yeah.
and I'm like trying to like, okay, you look very familiar. This was before championship belts. This is before he was, a lot of his big accomplishments.
Yeah.
And so I see him. I'm like, dude, you look really familiar to me. Where do I know you from? He goes, I'm Floyd Mayweather. I'm the greatest boxer in the world. Like, oh, yeah, that's right. I've seen you on ESPN.
Yeah.
ESPN. I don't fight on no ESPN. I fight on Showtime. And you're like, look, I'm not. I've seen your highlights. Like I've seen
Yeah.
them talking. Like I'm trying to calm them down. And anyway,
Yeah.
my encounters I've had with boxers, which is very limited,
Yeah.
is they are the least of humble people. And I think part of that is they have to hype themselves up so they believe in themselves. So when they get in the ring or the octagon or whatever, like
Yeah.
they're ready to go.
Mike Tyson, like, he is like, no offense to Mike Tyson, but like, he is like really like dumb. Like, they asked him like a simple math question or something, and he's like, what's 2 + 2? And he's like, it took him like,
I don't know where you hear these things.
I don't know, but
So look, I listened to his biography. Now I will
Yeah.
say that there was a word that rhymed with duck that was used way too much in this biography.
Oh,
And so but what's interesting is like he does have a very expansive vocabulary. He just likes to fall back on simple words at times. He's a lot more. There's a lot of layers to that onion, and so to me, what was interesting is listening to that biography is I really don't want to paint him into any corner. Like if I saw him, like part of me would be interested to like get to know him, but the other part of me has this like fear of like he could blow up on me in any given minute, like
yeah.
and so. But then the other part of me is like I listen to his biography, like I don't really, I have nothing to say other than like, hey, thanks for the entertainment over the years, like it's been great.
Yeah. I don't know like how people paint themselves in a corner though. Like, how does that happen?
I mean, like you talking literally or figuratively at this point.
Literally.
So literally, like you could be staining. Like I could give you a project of like, hey, Jonathan, okay, I need you to stain the deck. We don't have a deck, but
Yeah.
pretending we did, I could say I need you to stain the deck, and so you're okay. You get your stain out and your brush and you're staining it. You start, you walk out the door. You're like, oh, I'm gonna start right here, and then you start staining it, and then all of a sudden you get to the end corner, and you're like, oh crap, like I can't. I gotta wait for all this to dry before I can walk on it. And so I literally painted myself into a corner where I can't get out of it until it dries.
But it's a deck, so you could probably like, there's probably a
In
railing
this
that you can jump
proverbial
over.
deck, if you jump off, it's a 100-foot cliff into
Oh.
alligators.
Mm.
So go
I
ahead.
think that'd be probably bad to the alligators because you're like,
Yeah,
you're getting some heat
you're gonna
on
hurt.
that
These
fall.
alligators are gonna be hurting when you land in their choppers.
Yeah, but I don't know, like I think it was like Donald Duck or something, but he was painting, and he was painting the floor for some reason, and he painted himself into a corner, and he's like, oh, I have a good idea, and he got white paint and he painted it, and so he walked on the white paint, and he's like, okay, now I'm just gonna paint it red, and then he painted himself back into a corner. So I don't know, like,
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy doesn't wear pants. I don't know if that's who you want to take life advice from.
yeah,
I mean, we did talk about this a long time ago.
yeah.
You said something earlier this week. Welcome to spring break, by the way. But so
Oh yeah.
coming up on spring break and the end of the quarter, and we're kind of busting your chops a little bit, saying like, dude, did you get all your homework done? And you're like, yeah, there's a little bit more of a math assignment that you had to do,
Wait, what?
and you were upset because it was late. You'd said you'd already done your homework, then all of a sudden you quote unquote realized you had more homework to do.
Yeah.
You had conveniently forgotten that you had homework during the TV show. Then when the TV show was over, you remembered, oh crap, I have more homework to do.
Well, after
That's
you told
neither
me
here nor there.
to check, but I didn't. I mean, I did it, but not.
But you said school is stupid and math is stupid and school should prepare you for life. I want to hear more of your thoughts on this.
Well, so like, I feel like school doesn't like. I mean, it kind of prepares you for life. Like, if you do something bad, then you're gonna get in trouble. But like, some stuff is so stupid. Like, like some math class, like some of the subjects are like, when am I ever gonna use this?
Yeah, and I agree with you where there's definitely stuff that happens in school. And look, you don't know where your life is going to take you. You don't know what kind of twists and turns you're going to have in life where all of a sudden you're going to be like, bam, I want to be a physicist. And you'll be really appreciative of the math skills that you've acquired.
Mm.
I'm not saying you're going to be a physicist.
Yeah.
Like we've accused you of being, a permanent camper in previous episodes.
Oh yeah.
But what I guess what I would say is, the reason you do some of that is it does help your brain develop. It helps you learn other things. But I also agree with you. Understanding the why you're doing something is very important, because sometimes you're like, why am I doing this? And the teacher might say, you're doing this because this is how you can get a good grade. And that's
Yeah.
just deal with it. But then there's other times where you're like, why do I need to understand like square roots and this, that, the other? Part of it might be, well, look, if you're a carpenter and you need to order carpet, you need to know how many square feet of carpet you need to order so that you can fill the room with carpet. And so you're like,
Yeah.
oh, well, that makes sense. Like, because you can put it to whatever your real life concept is. We've had discussions at work, like, people, I'm in a financial industry, right? And so people, they graduate from high school and there should be a class on how do you do your taxes. There should
Yeah.
be a class on how do you balance your checking account or bank accounts. Like, how do you create a budget and follow it? Those are things that people actually could really benefit from.
Yeah. I don't know anything about that, so I mean, like, yeah.
Here's I'll give you a quick and dirty. This is revolutionary.
Oh, okay.
If the government could do this, they would be much better off.
Really?
Saturday Night Live did a spoof on this a while ago. It's pretty funny. But the bottom line is don't spend money you don't have.
Okay.
If you can't afford it, then don't buy it. And don't be like, well, I'm going to put on my credit card and whatever. Like, no, just if you don't have the money, then you don't buy it.
I guess I will never buy a car because I probably, like a loan. Can I get loans?
Yeah, so that's, to me, there's good debt and bad debt. You could argue if a car is good debt or bad debt. I think for most people, they would say, yeah, you need to get a car. You need a car loan to, because people can't just drop a lot of money on that.
Yeah.
But then part of it's like, well, then why are you buying such an expensive car? Buy a less expensive car.
Yeah.
A mortgage, I would say, is good debt because very few people can afford a massive mortgage. But really, like credit card debt, you should never carry credit card debt. Like, you just
Yeah.
shouldn't, because why would you pay 30% of interest or whatever it is, 20 whatever percent, 18%? It doesn't matter. You shouldn't be paying that kind of money on interest on when you don't have to.
My teacher told me that some people like put their kids on their credit card, and then like they just ruin their life because they're terrible with their credit card.
Well, and the opposite can be just as true, right? Like, I add you to my credit card, and all of a sudden now you have good credit built up,
Yeah.
and so that can help you. So it's six of one, half dozen the other. It just depends on what kind of person you are.
Yeah. But back to the school thing, like English, like sometimes English is so stupid. Like, I mean, like I already speak the language. I already know how to I know how to write. I mean, like, what else do you want from me?
So
Like,
the ability to clearly express yourself through communication channels, whether it be verbally or written, is very important. I
yeah.
can't tell you how many emails get sent to me throughout my career, throughout every week. I get emails, and you kind of think like, like, this guy, like, you need to improve your communication skills. And so if you can't communicate through the written format, that will hinder you in it, whether you're starting your own business, whether you're running your own business, whether you're trying to get a promotion or land a new client. Like, you have to be able to communicate clearly, even via text. Like, I know text is a very casual form of communication, but if you can't clearly deliver a message, like I was talking to this lady at work, her son's getting married. And so they have this like big dinner with the whole family coming up. And so they're trying to communicate with this lady, hey, we're going to have a party. We're going to have about 50 guests, and so they arranged it. And so then they were following up like, hey, just making sure, is there anything you need us to do for the dinner? Are you ready? And the response they got back was, yes.
Wait, what?
And so, yeah, it was like, I asked you multiple questions and the answer you gave me was yes.
Yeah.
So, like, yes to which one?
Yeah.
And so part of that's a reflection on them as a business owner. You're like, hey, I need you to communicate with me.
Yeah. It's also kind of funny when you're like, do you want this one or that one? And
Yes.
yeah, they're like, yeah, and they're like, wait, which one? All right, this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thumbs up emoji.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, the other thing I would say too, like English, like, sure, you can speak it. And I mean, I guess you kind of can speak it, at least at a 4-year-old level.
Yeah,
But
4-year-old level.
But the other thing is like being able to take in massive amounts of information and digest it quickly and then summarize it and express that is also very important. Like, I have to read contracts all the time. Very boring, probably the worst part of my job. But you have to be able to read things quickly, understand them, and then be able to communicate what that means.
Yeah, this is. Yeah.
Okay, I want to rant on something.
Oh, a rant. What is it?
Well, stinky people.
Oh, people that like with bad hygiene or like they just smell bad.
So I've noticed more and more with the legalization of marijuana that there are more and more stinky, like weed stinky people.
Yeah.
And I wish, I don't know if they know that they stink. I mean, like I was at the airport a couple weeks ago, and like you're thinking, like, oh my gosh, I hope I don't have to sit next to that person because they just smelt like a bag of weed.
Yeah.
It was terrible. Like, how do people like it? How do people do this?
I don't know, but like I actually make it a very important part to smell good. Like I take showers daily. Actually, since I'm at camper permanently, it's more like weekly.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. But I take showers daily. I put on deodorant and stuff, and
Cologne.
cologne.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even know what. What? Whoa, that was.
Yeah. Why is the G silent in cologne?
I don't know.
Like that I mean, whatever. It is like, but that's Bologna. That
And
Cologne
why
is
is Jim spelled with a Y? It should
and
be
a G.
Gime.
Yeah, Gime. That's what I mean. Homer said, "Hey, what the heck is a Gime?" And he goes inside. Oh, a Gime. But like Aubrey, she used to work at Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
And like she's working the drive-through, and all of a sudden, like these people roll down the window, and it's like she's basically getting secondhand high because of the hot boxing that's going on in the car.
Yeah.
Like, what's up with that? Like, just like, come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, why are we doing this?
I don't know. I think they should just ban drugs.
Well, that's
like good drugs. Or no, bad drugs. Bad drugs.
I mean, so there's an interesting book. So one could argue that the book I'm referencing is called Chasing the Scream.
Not a sponsor.
But it's a great read. And so the argument they make in this book is that when, like, back in the 1920s, so 100 years ago, it was illegal to have alcohol.
Yeah.
Like the country banned alcohol sales. And then because of that, NASCAR became a thing. Bootlegging, like people would make their own alcohol in their bathrooms, bathtubs, whatever.
Whoa.
And then it gave the mob more power. And so then 10 years later, the government was like, all right, we're losing this battle. Let's just legalize it, whatever.
Wait, how did NASCAR become a thing because no alcohol?
Well, so NASCAR, because they would have to do these runs with the alcohol to like cross state lines or whatever to go from one county to the next to deliver the alcohol. No, come on. You've watched Talladega Nights. When Ricky Bobby's getting water thrown on him by his dad, he's asking him the origins of NASCAR.
Oh.
I thought you were a connoisseur of that movie.
I don't remember that part.
You don't remember when he's like, hey, I taped a bag of what?
Colombian Bam Bam, got the bite on the car.
Right before that, when he's throwing the water on him.
I know.
Okay, you need to go back.
No, he was asking him like,
he goes,
how fast does a car go?
He was asking anyway. Those are the origins of NASCAR. Anyway, so back to this book. So the argument this guy makes in the book, Chasing the Scream, is that if you want to win the war on drugs, you legalize everything.
Oh.
But then you control who is able to receive it or how they're able to receive it.
Yeah.
And so, like, literally, like, if you want to go do meth, like, hey, let's go down to the Walgreens. We can do meth right there. Now, the model would be like, okay, so you go to the first floor, you buy the drugs, you go and you shoot up or you do the drugs on the second floor. And then at some point you hit rock bottom. You're like, man, I'm done. Then you go to the third floor and you can check yourself into rehab. And then the taxes for the drugs would pay for the rehab.
Whoa.
The concept in theory could potentially work. I don't know. Like,
I don't think that would work because then we just have a bunch of people who are addicted to drugs all on the streets.
I mean, and that's a real possibility as well.
Yeah.
We're going to go to our sponsorship moment right here.
Yeah.
We're going to bring in the lovely Dr. Haldeman, LLC.
Wow.
Wait, are we bringing the corporation or just bringing Dr. Haldeman?
Just Dr. Haldeman.
All right, let's bring her on in. Let's get an intro song for her. All right, so we are here with the lovely Dr. Haldeman.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you.
And she's wearing her most beautiful strawberry shortcake shirt. Love it.
How do you know what strawberry shortcake is?
I have a granddaughter that's in town and I have to dress appropriately.
Yeah.
All right, so we were just talking. I mean, I think you kind of heard what we were talking about, and so you're like, hey, let me come in and give my 2 cents. So I was going on a rant about stinky people and how I was at the airport and I just smelled people just stinking of marijuana. Like it's kind of an inconsiderate thing, like to go strong odors in any way, shape, or form, whether it's like an overwhelming perfume, like those things can just be kind of obtrusive. And so we're happy to have you for this sponsorship moment. Please enlighten us with some wisdom.
Wait, hold it. Before you start, I actually had somebody at school who sprayed their cologne and it smelled terrible. Like, they're like, oh, I'm going to go to this next class, 1 sec. I just need to spray on some cologne, and it's in the gym. And they sprayed on some cologne. It was terrible. It was, oh my goodness.
Overwhelming.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, so I did actually hear you, and I was cleansing my face, moisturizing for the evening. So the truth is that I feel like that, people, you guys were talking about drugs and alcohol and that kind of a thing, and stinky people and things like that. And there's a lot of people that have a tremendous amount of pain out there, and it's actually quite sad. It's people are masking their pain through alcohol, drugs, all kinds of other things to help kill pain. And the sad thing is that people don't understand that there are many other ways to help to cure yourself of the difficulties that you're facing. I mean, many of these people, they escape their reality, or they take these numbing drugs and alcohol to help them to overcome their depression, their anxiety, their grouchiness. Some people are angry and don't feel. Either they're helping to put themselves in a calmer space, or to pick themselves up out of depression is why many people participate in those types of things. But the one thing I found interesting is in a reading I was doing that when Amsterdam legalized marijuana, recently or soon after the legalization, they were inundated with their mental health facilities. They were like overwhelmed completely, and so there's definitely a negative effect for these things. And then I know you may or may not remember the conversation that we had with our good buddy Tyson Ward, who's a doctor. He's an
Ophthalmologist.
Yeah, he's a surgeon for the
eye
eyeball.
surgeon. Yeah, like a specialized eye surgeon.
So
Yeah.
he's pretty big deal there in the eye field. So he mentioned, we were talking to him about chasing the scream, because it does sound like a good concept that, maybe if we legalize, then it would be a lot better for us to control and help to distribute more appropriately to people who need it. But he mentioned that the effects of the drugs and alcohol are so detrimental upon these people that it's not worth it. It's not worth them. Essentially, we should not be doing drugs and alcohol.
All right. So in your line of work, like you've come across people that, like you said earlier, like they're in a tremendous amount of pain. So what can you do in your line of work to help? I know that you're not the end all be all, but you're a contributor to that.
So yeah. And I think that marijuana is one herb. It is herb there, that we actually have a range of things that we can use in the marijuana plant, but and we do have that in our materia medica. But that's one herb. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of herbs that we have been blessed with on this earth that we can use in combination to help to strengthen our body. And it's astounding to me that people think that this one herb is a cure-all, and the truth is there are some people that have the wrong body chemistry to mix with this herb that can be extremely detrimental for their mental health. In homeopathy, there is a homeopathic remedy called cannabis indica, and it counteracts the effects that are so detrimental for people who take marijuana, and they become mentally ill. So in my line of work, we use a whole range of herbs to help people overcome the challenges that they're facing, the pain that they're having. And then homeopathy is another fantastic way to overcome generations long issue.
So what about like the role of acupuncture in that as well? Because I know, like, obviously herbs, That makes a lot of sense. Does acupuncture have a role in that at all?
Yes, there's the protocol that I use is the Sa'am 4-needle Korean technique. I absolutely love it, and it addresses physical symptoms in combination with mental health symptoms. I might have described this before, so forgive me if I'm repeating myself, but each organ system in the body has a nature in balance, in harmony, or in rebellion. So, like for instance, the small intestine will have, when it's in harmony, it will act a certain way. When it's in distress or disease, it will act another way. And that is, it manifests. The way people behave is manifesting. People who have anxiety, people who have feel abandoned or alone, those people will have issues with their small intestine. That's where we absorb our nutrients. It's very, very interesting to me that people don't internalize their issues and say, oh, well, it's everyone else's fault why I'm feeling abandoned or have anxiety. But the truth is there's something that's not in harmony within their body.
So it sounds like you're saying, all right, you can take ownership for the way that you feel, and there's help available through the forms of herbs, homeopathy, acupuncture, just some of these alternative treatments. How long does that take?
As far as treatments are concerned,
Yeah,
it varies for each person. Everyone's individual. So honestly, with the acupuncture, in theory, for every year that you've been suffering with an issue, it takes about a month of recovery. So if you've had something for 30 years, it might take a little longer. If you've had something for 6 weeks, it usually is pretty easy to cure, typically. It just depends on what the wave is that this disease is riding on. So what is the underlying cause?
excellent. Okay, anything else you want to add?
Nope.
I think we were asking her.
Yeah, I don't
No.
have anything to add either.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Okay, Renee, Dr. Haldeman, anything you'd like to add?
No, thank you so much.
Okay, well, thanks as always for joining us. You can get in touch with Dr. Haldeman at
702-258-7860.
You can also go to iwholehealth.com. You can go to Renaissance Health Center. You can call for a free consultation. She's always excited to hear from you.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for joining us.
Thanks.
Lots of knowledge right there.
Yeah.
Anyway, so long story short, don't do drugs, I guess.
Yeah. And don't worry and be happy.
Don't worry. Be happy. All right, so I'm on Facebook Marketplace every now and then.
Ooh.
Honestly, like the thing I look at on Facebook Marketplace, I have this like dream of like one day I'm gonna buy a really cool old car.
Oh, I have that same dream.
And I like it might happen. Like I had a Volkswagen Bug when I was in high school.
Yeah.
And so like I'll look at see these old Bugs. I'm like, oh, that's not too expensive. I could get that. But then you're like, why am I going to blow $15,000 on a car that doesn't run very well and have air conditioning?
Or why wouldn't you blow 15,000 on a car that doesn't run very well, and your kids will love it with the passion?
Yeah, sure. Until they're like stranded on a date and like whatever. But anyway, it just makes the date more memorable, right?
Yeah,
Create
yeah.
memories. So, I mean, I could buy a car for $500 and have that happen.
I like that idea as well.
So anyway, I'm on Facebook Marketplace, and for whatever reason, just there's some random stuff. Like I'm looking at these old cars, and there was two things that were very random. If you're watching this on Spotify, I'll throw the picture up here on Spotify.
Yeah.
The first one, and I'm going to show this to you, Johnny, is a vintage Panther shelf. So there's two things that are funny about this ad. The first one is somebody selling a vintage Panther shelf.
Yeah.
What would you think the second thing would be funny about this, Jonathan?
The person in the photo.
I mean, so like I don't think there's a lot of people trying to buy a vintage Panther shelf, and so they had to definitely use some marketing skills in order to enhance one's desire to purchase this by putting a woman that is basically wearing not a lot.
Yeah.
How much is that vintage Panther shelf? Did you see it, Johnny? It can
like,
be yours for a small sum of
a couple $1,000.
$2,999.
Yeah, I don't think I would buy that vintage Panther shelf.
Like I don't even know what this like. It looks like there's a couple of pillars. There's like this big Black Panther. It's probably about and it's probably 6 feet tall. There's like 3 glass shelves that go with it. There's another panther that's climbing down the pillar.
I'll take it for $20.
All right, so there's another one that came up right after this, and this one is a vintage 5 foot tall high Black Panther.
Oh,
High fiving.
oh.
It's a high fiving Black
Hmm.
Panther.
Did you search up Panthers?
No, this was like right above it was a Volkswagen Bug. Right below it was like a 1960 Chevy truck or something.
Ooh,
And
how
so-
much did that cost?
So then there's this
Oh,
five
never mind.
foot tall high fiving Panther. I don't know. It's
Yeah, what?
again
I don't know what
you can
that
see the
is.
image if you're watching this on Spotify. You can see this. It can be yours for $700.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe it's already sold. I probably should have gone back and checked.
yeah.
So
But-
I'm sorry if you wanted the high fiving Panthers and now it's gone.
No, yeah, I don't think I would want that.
I mean, that'd be kind of cool putting that in your bedroom. Like actually, I think you put that by the front door when you
Yeah.
leave. You're like, yeah,
Boo, yeah.
damn, high five the Panther, dude. That's some
Yeah.
good luck right there.
Yeah. Do you like believe in those good luck things like the rabbit foot or something?
So I don't believe in that, but so maybe this is a form of OCD, like obsessive compulsive disorder, or tradition or whatever. But when I was about 10 years old,
Yeah.
I played baseball. Baseball players are, for the most part, very superstitious. They're
I'm
not
not superstitious, but I am a little
I'm a little
superstitious.
stitious. And so I had a game that I had a great game. Like I was hitting the ball, catching the ball, throwing people out. Like
Yeah.
had a really good game. And the thing that I did that day is I put my right sock on first.
Oh.
And since that day, literally, I do not put on my left sock or shoe ever before my right sock. So sometimes I'll go right sock, right shoe, left shoe. Sometimes I'll do right sock, right shoe, left sock, left shoe, but never will I ever put on the right shoe or sock before the left.
I don't even know which one I put on first.
And that's what makes me weird. The other thing about that, like if I'm going to buy a new pair of shoes
Yeah.
and they give me a shoe to try on, I'm so sorry, I have to have the right shoe.
Actually,
I will not put on I just can't.
Yeah.
It feels weird to me.
really.
Like it would just like I'm trying to think of like something that would just be like you're like, oh, this is just uncomfortable, like this is not right. That's what it would be to me.
I don't know anything that I would do like that. Like I don't know. I don't think I have anything that's like superstitious or whatever.
Even a little stitious.
Yeah.
And that's because you're a normal person. What I just said there, like I'm right now, there's probably somebody who's listening. They're like a therapist or a psychologist, and they're like,
That's not
Yeah,
normal.
so
he
he's-
definitely needs
so he's probably going to be involved in a school shooting later.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. No, I'm not. I will not.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I have anything like that. Like I don't do anything weird. I usually put on my underwear before my pants.
When did you start doing that?
I don't know, a couple of days ago actually. I just decided I'm like, man, this is a lot harder to put on my underwear with my pants on, you know?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, not to mention the zipper's a lot more dangerous.
Yeah.
You gotta watch out for that zipper when you
Yeah.
got no undies on. All right, let's talk about our second sponsor. This segment's going to be brought to you by
Cinemark.
get your movie pass, $10 a month to get a ticket. I was about to use it for a movie yesterday, and then I realized that I didn't want to go see the movie for the tickets that I bought.
Oh,
Honestly, it made it very easy to return the tickets.
really?
Yeah, I was very thankful. It was just a quick, simple process, able to handle it via the app. But I don't usually do that because I like going to the movies.
I like going to the movies as well.
So anyway, any movies that you watched lately that you want to talk about?
Well, I started watching Moana 2 and I didn't finish it.
How was it? At least how did it start?
I don't know, it was okay. Like, it's like what you would expect.
So yesterday we watched. Well, you watched. I
Oh, yeah.
started watching and then fell
Bill-
asleep.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, great movie from the 1988 genre, 1988-89.
I actually love that movie.
I don't know if it's Keanu Reeves' first movie. It's probably his like first where he was like a star in it.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the question I have about it. First of all, is that movie good?
It's outstanding.
I'd say it's iconic. like it's one of those movies that is really not that good of a movie.
Yeah.
Like I mean, there's kind of dumb, right?
It's
but
funny.
it's funny. It's
Yeah.
funny. It's one of those. I'd watch it again, even though I fell asleep during it. Like I would definitely rewatch that movie.
Me and my esteemed colleague.
Yeah. So there's this part, right? Like they're obviously dumb kids. They're failing their history class.
Yeah.
And so the teacher keeps them in class afterwards, and he says something like, "Hey, I need you to do better." And he goes, me and my esteemed colleague.
Yeah. He just said something so stupid.
Am I your esteemed colleague?
Yes.
Excellent.
Hey, give my love to the princesses.
What? You'll see. And then probably my favorite line is he says, "Strange things are afoot at the Circle K."
Yeah.
That to me is a great line.
Yeah.
Question I had, like I was thinking about this today. If Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure was made today,
Yeah.
right? Not in 1988, but it was made in 2025. How would that movie be? What would be different about that movie?
I don't know. I probably a lot of things like
A lot of things would have to, like, first of all, have you ever seen a phone booth in real life like that?
no. They'd probably transport through. I don't know. What would they transport?
Yeah, I don't know what a Tesla maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they have this magical Tesla that can take them back and forth at the time.
Mix
or
of
whatever.
a magical school bus Tesla
Yeah.
and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah, and then like to me, the cell phone would somehow have to be involved.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be weird.
It'd be a totally different movie. Would it be better? Is it better because it was made in the 80s versus made today?
Yeah. But at the very end, if you notice, the guitar, it didn't have any tuner things on it. That was weird.
Okay, so I love how you point out some of these things about the musical instruments.
Yeah.
What's funny to me is you've been taking guitar lessons for what, 2-3 months now?
Not even that. Probably like 2 months.
Okay, so and honestly, like you're flying through your lessons, like you're doing really well. You're progressing. You're playing all the time.
Yeah.
So here's these guys that, like, they were terrible musically.
Yeah. No, they were not that terrible.
No, they didn't. They couldn't play, dude.
They did. They put then in their video they were playing. They're like,
Dude, all they hit was like a chord.
yeah. Well, I mean,
But like, think of the end when they had the girls there with them. Like they
Yeah.
were banging on the keyboard.
oh, that was terrible.
One was banging on the. Yeah, they didn't know how to play.
Yeah.
Like even watch their hands when they're playing. Like they don't know how to play.
Yeah.
And so it's just funny to me. Like you've been playing for 2-3 months, and you're already like sounding out songs that you're hearing. You're mastering a lot of the basic chords. You're already getting barred chords, which is impressive.
Yeah.
And these guys think they're going to get Eddie Van Halen to be their lead guitarist. Like, it's preposterous. It's like the dumbest. Hey,
who's Eddie Van Halen?
so you don't know who Van Halen is?
No.
You know the song Jump?
Yeah.
Okay, so Eddie Van Halen's like the guitarist, and there's two guys. David Lee Roth, I think, is who it is. I don't know. I'm not a big music guy, but Eddie Van Halen's like this. He's considered by some to be one of the greatest guitarists of all time.
Yeah.
And they think that they're going to get him to be in their band.
They had like this dumb conversation. And they're like, how are we supposed to make a music video if we don't know how to play? Like, he's like, we need to get Eddie Van Halen. He's like, well, we can't get Eddie Van Halen without the music video. And it's like, you're right. And then they go like,
Yeah, it's like their chicken and the egg
Yeah.
conversation on the dumbest level. Okay, so go watch that movie. You can get it on Prime for free. I'm sure there's other areas you can watch it at, but if you haven't seen Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure,
You gotta watch it.
I mean, just know you will be disappointed. It is if you are a teenager and younger, you'll enjoy it. If you are older than 25, actually, if you're probably older than 19, you're probably not gonna. Just know it's stupid, but there's funny parts in it.
Yeah. I thought it was funny when they went to the future and everybody was just like slowly like,
Yeah, doing their guitar.
yeah, that was so weird.
All right, we need to do a shout out.
Sure.
Some people on Jonathan's basketball team have been listening to the podcast.
Who?
I really appreciate it. So
I don't
Jaden
play basketball.
on Ralph's basketball team. So Jaden and his mom Jennifer are fans of the podcast. So shout out to them.
Yeah.
So appreciate you guys listening. Here's your shout out. Shout.
Oh. Wait.
So and look, I know our buddy Finn. He's super excited because he got a shout out last week.
Yeah.
So he's kind of getting a second one right now.
Oh.
So
Yeah. Shout out to Finn.
But he's a good dude. Like, it's kind of
He deserves it.
he deserves it. And I guess it's exciting to get a shout out. I don't know. I have not gotten one yet.
Oh, shout out to you
Really? Why?
because you are an awesome podcast person.
I'm your esteemed colleague.
Yeah.
Because you are the most humble co-host of a podcast.
Yeah. I am the most humble.
Man, I'm slacking here. I was supposed to find the video of when you wanted
Oh.
another sandwich, and I didn't find it.
Hold it. If you pause it right
It's
now.
going to take me too long
I
to
know I
find it.
have it. I already have
Do you
it.
really have it?
Yeah, on my phone.
Okay, all right. Okay, so we're going to go get this real quick. So, okay, we're going to review this podcast or this video from Jonathan. Go grab it real
All right.
quick. All right, so thank you, Johnny, for getting
Yeah.
that video
just
for us.
swooped in and saved
Swooped in and saved the day. All right, so I'm going to set the table for you. It is, I don't know, how old are you in this pic? You're probably 2.5, maybe 3 at the most.
it. Yeah.
What's going on in your day?
So it's a normal day. I wake up. I eat breakfast, usually oatmeal, with some type of fruit inside of it, and then
We don't need that many details.
Oh, okay. Well, basically, I watch a show, and then it's probably like nap time or whatever but I need lunch, and I love sandwiches.
Okay, and so your mom made you a sandwich.
Yeah,
What terrible thing did she do to you on the sandwich?
I have no idea.
All right, so
I don't know. I think it was like it wasn't the crust because I'm.
she
fine
cut
with-
it in half.
Oh, yeah.
She cut the sandwich in half, which as a kid you totally like that. Like
Yeah.
that's what you do. But for some reason, she did the cardinal sin of cutting the sandwich in half, and this is what happened. So you'll see the image is Jonathan and Ralph on the table. That's Ralph crying.
Yeah.
Jonathan's giving the death stare.
Yeah. I'm just furious.
It's coming. All right, he looks at his brother in disgust.
Yeah. he's like, that was me at the end.
It's just so funny. Like you got 100%. I'll post this on the gram page. The funniest part with this is like Ralph has no idea why he's upset.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you're mad, so he's like, well, if he's mad, obviously I'm gonna be mad too,
Yeah.
which is hilarious.
And I don't know. I was just furious.
Like, dude, the look on your face, like this death stare look on your face, is so funny. Like you are
Yeah.
so ticked off.
It's like that's not even that bad. Like that wasn't even that bad.
But the greatest thing is that you're like, I'm gonna have another sandwich.
Yeah.
All right, kid, go for it. Okay, you showed me. Oh man, that's funny.
Yeah.
Do kids do some? You gotta have kids. You gotta have kids and gotta have a lot of kids because it just makes life better.
Yeah.
On
is
that note,
yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
That's all, folks.
thanks for listening.
Yeah. See you.
Oh yeah!
Cats in the cradle and the silver spoon. Little boy blue and the man on the moon.